Hello, everyone. It's Shane Conto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the Wasteland Retrospective here on the SPM Crew Podcasting Network. And this is my weekly show where my guests and I each pick a film related in some shape or form. And hopefully, by the end of this episode, you have two films to go check out. And joining me, because it is indeed the fourth Thursday of the month, it is Jeff. Thank you so much for coming on.
Of course, anytime.
And we are tackling two rocks, oddly, like they're almost like the same runtime too, which is weird too.
They
Two
are like they're like a minute apart from each other. Yeah.
We have two films from 2011 that are about two friends having sex with each other, but not wanting to be in a relationship. And spoiler alert, how do you think both of these movies wind up? It is Friends with Benefits and it's No Strings Attached. I guess we'll get started with Friends with Benefits. This is the Justin Timberlake Mila Kunis one, directed by Will Gluck, who has made films like Anyone But You, that was recent, and the Peter Rabbit movie, interesting, and Easy A. I feel like just like a quick glance, I feel like things have just gone down from when he made Easy A, but that's just my perspective on that. But Jeff, what were your general thoughts on Friends with Benefits?
Um, Originally, because when we had picked these movies and we had talked about them, I had said that I liked this better than the other one.
Mhm.
After watching it this time, I kind of like them both the same, and I don't mean that in a positive way.
I was wondering, I'm like, which one of these am I gonna like better? Because I hadn't seen either of them.
Hmm.
Feel like I feel like this one is more consistently just here. And
Yeah,
then I feel like No Strings Attached has better highs, but there's also moments where I'm just like, I really hate this movie. So I feel like that kind of just like balances kind of in the same place. Because like I don't think I particularly liked either of them substantially more than the other one.
yeah,
This one just easily just reeks of like that 2.5, 3-star rom-com that's just like living in this space and doesn't
yeah,
really move away from it at all.
yeah. There's things that in this movie that work. Like I think the comedy is better in this one,
Hmm.
and I think the story is a little bit better. Um like what like there's a lot of similarities with these movies, and we'll
Yes.
go. I think maybe when we're done with both talking about both of these, we can go into them because there's interesting things happening. But the story in this one, I think, is a little bit better with Justin Timberlake's character, where he's got a dad he's taking care of. I think it's a little bit more personal.
I
Um,
did love the Richard Jenkins of it
yeah,
all in this movie.
that dude is
Like,
always fun to watch.
it's like he didn't need to put this much effort into this movie, but he did.
He is arguably the best part of this movie. Like
He certainly is.
he's doing the most here.
I feel like he adds the like only real substantial amount of depth to this movie
Yeah.
because a lot of it's pretty like shallow, basic rom-com stuff. But like, there's a moment where like you could just feel it's like he's trying to like get his son to like
Hmm.
chase after it, and I'm just like, yeah, that's why you get Richard Jenkins. And not gonna lie, I don't think this would be the casting in 2025. Um, but I really do think that Woody Harrelson is one of the funniest parts of this movie.
See,
Like,
that's where I completely disagree. I
interesting.
I thought his character was way. I mean, maybe at the time in 2011 that his
Mhm.
character was like really funny and stuff. I thought it was too much.
I I I feel like it was the only comedy in this movie that tried to go big.
Yeah.
And honestly, that was one of my biggest problems with No Strings Attached was that some of the comedy in that was just like reeked of this was 2011. I guess
Yeah.
I think Woody Harrelson's presence is probably the most dated part of this because
Yeah, I that's kind of where I'm kind of coming from here is I think it's very dated. It's of the time for sure.
yeah,
Um, because it's just this constant like I felt like the like movies back then when they're trying to portray a gay character, they're like they were really trying to shove it in your face that hey, this character is gay. And he's
and it's
very
like,
open
and
about
that's
it.
cool,
Yeah, and that's
you know,
cool, you
it's
know.
okay.
Like you can but me again, I really wasn't paying attention to it at the time, but I pay attention to it now where I'm like, you could just dial it back and make your point a lot easier, you know.
This movie was yelling at you. This character is gay, and that's
Oh
okay.
yeah.
Time and time. And I feel like the thing that worked for me is like Woody Harrelson was so committed to it. And
Hmm.
I love Woody Harrelson. I think he's effortlessly funny in so many things. Um, Probably my biggest problem with this is like I have seen Justin Timberlake deliver some fine performances. Like I
This is
don't
not
think
one of them.
no, I don't think he really added much to this movie. Um, and like I'm not even saying like Mila Kunis is like the strongest actor out there, but
Hmm.
like she made him look
I think she's definitely doing better than him in this movie.
yeah. She like is at least pretty charismatic and like not gonna lie, I really couldn't take Justin Timberlake seriously when this movie tried to be any type of serious. And what's crazy is this is the same year as In Time, which is
Hmm.
another movie. Like that movie had such a great concept, and he was like the most miscast possible person to lead that movie. And here it's just like, because this is a year after The Social Network, right? So like
Yeah, yeah.
Justin Timberlake was like, we're really gonna try to make him an actor now. And it just didn't work for
Yeah,
me.
what a step backwards.
And like I like Patricia Clarkson's character as Mila Kunis's mom is like a caricature, but I
Yeah.
appreciate how committed she is to the bit. And it's so weird seeing Patricia Clarkson playing a character like this because I don't think I've ever seen her play a character like this in anything. So
Mhm. And well, like the closest I can think maybe that it comes to that is um her character in Easy A, like the very outgoing and
okay.
very, very open type of thing. Because because the parents in Easy A are just very open and whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
I haven't watched it in a while. I think I forgot that she was in that.
I know, and
Um,
until you just said it, I completely forgot too. Because like I don't, I've only watched Easy A once, so I really don't remember it as much. But I remember the two parents, and I remember she's one of them. So it kind of reminds me of that dynamic in a way. But even then, I don't know if this is the kind of Patricia Clarkson I like.
it it's like
I like her more in a dramatic role.
I don't think she was adding much to the movie.
Yeah,
I think it's different. Like Richard Jenkins felt like he was adding something to the movie with what he was doing
correct.
and his lack of pants, um, which was like, you know, you don't even need to be sick to just be like, at some point, I just don't give a crap. Like
Hmm.
maybe I just want to sit around without my pants on. Just like I want to be comfortable. Um, Jenna Elfman, I don't think it's a ton to do, but I do like her as Justin
Yeah,
Timberlake's
she's
sister.
fine.
Yeah. I I think Justin Timberlake's the biggest negative for me about this because I just don't feel like he adds much to this equation.
Yeah,
And, you know, like this movie isn't raunchy in the same way that I feel like some of the stuff in No Strings Attached was. Like, I also didn't think it was sexy when it's just like, here's whole scenes of them having sex with each other. And it's just like, I feel like this is just kind of going through the motions here. Because, this is a R-rated rom-com from 2011. Also, what was more dated, Woody Harrelson or the Flash Mobs?
definitely the flash mobs.
And I'm like, oh my God, I remember when Flash Mobs were popular.
Well, and I remember watching this movie back in the day, and I was like, I've never seen a flash mob before. And then I and I watched this movie like the other day, and I was like, I haven't seen a flash mob since this movie. But like I know they were a thing. Like I never actually
Yeah.
saw one in person. So like I remember they were just like an internet thing that people were trying to do and make interesting. And it just ultimately failed, I think.
I
Um
don't think I've ever seen a flash mob in person either.
I've
Maybe,
never seen one.
wait
And
a
they're
minute.
like,
Maybe they don't actually exist. The internet just tried to trick us into thinking they did.
well, I think they exist, but they're like a little bit more creative now. Like you see that TikTok of like that city in Europe that did like the Bohemian Rhapsody of like all these different
Nice.
singers and musicians and everything. That was better. Like I think that was actually like that's a flash mob, but I think
All
they're
the
doing it
flash
the right
mobs have
way.
disappeared to TikTok. That's
But
where
like
they live
but
now.
like this flash mob of like dancing in Times Square and Grand Central Station, I'm like, that's like the cheesiest, most like boring, and then they're using like the worst songs too. I'm like, it's the cheesiest type of thing you could do.
Speaking of cheesy, I would like to see the movie in this movie
I no, I don't want to. It's
because
the
I
very last thing I want to do.
I want to see how bad it is, to be perfectly honest. I just
Yeah.
loved how it was Jason Segel and Rashida Jones just popped up in this movie. I just like, what? Well, also, the very beginning of this movie, I did not expect to see Andy Samberg and Emma Stone pop up at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, and that was a big surprise for because they're but they were both very big, and I mean they still are very big, but they were both very big at the time.
Hmm.
Um, the other thing
Actually,
I
I would have rather have watched a rom-com about Andy Samberg and Emma Stone than I would Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake.
yeah, that would have been funny because I think Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake they're too big of stars for what this is. And I think if it was like an Emma Stone and Andy Samberg movie, it probably would have like maybe made it a little bit better and like launched them a little bit sooner. Not that they were like not launching at this time, but they were
Yeah,
on the rise. I think it would have launched them a little bit quicker.
I just feel like it just didn't do much to really grab
Yeah,
my. It felt oddly safe for a movie about two friends just sleeping around with each other that's supposed to be an R-rated rom-com.
yeah.
But I guess Jeff, do you have any other thoughts specifically on Friends with Benefits?
Um, no, no, I think I'm good. Like I said, I've got some things that are like in common with these two movies, but we can get to that after the next one.
Well, let's dive into an Ivan Reitman directed film, No Strings Attached, which is wild to me.
Which
Um,
and that's the thing that I was gonna bring up. I'm like, this blows my mind that this was an Ivan Reitman movie.
I
Like,
don't like obviously had Ghostbusters and so many other more popular films. But like towards the end, he did Draft Day, this, My Super Ex-Girlfriend. Just like,
yeah.
okay. Okay. Um, let's not forget he also did Kindergarten Cop. Look, it's not a tumor. Um, but this No Strings Attached, a guy and a girl try to keep the relationship strictly physical, but it's not long before they learn that they want something more. That's literally been the synopsis
It's
for Friends with Benefits too.
yeah.
And
They are essentially the same movie, just in different places with different actors.
like the setup here, I not gonna lie, the first like 10 minutes of this movie, I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna like this at
Mhm.
all. It's like it felt this is one of the lows of like this setup is so weird and so bad comedies from 2011.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where I'm just like, I'm really hoping that this gets better from here. But I guess Jeff, what are your general thoughts?
After going through this again, I like it a little bit better than I did before because I think because I now realize it's Ivan Reitman, I think he's trying to do better than what this kind of premise actually
Mhm.
is. I don't think it totally works, but I think he's trying, and I appreciate the effort. Um, I think the dynamic between Ashton Kutcher and Natalie Portman is better. I think Natalie Portman's always been a huge crush of mine, so I automatically love it because of Natalie Portman. So and I think
There you
she's
go.
really I think when she's trying to be like the over the top funny, like I don't think she's really knocking that out of the park.
Well, I don't think that's really her wheelhouse, to be
It's
honest.
no, and that's exactly why like when I heard that this was a movie that was coming out with these two people, I was like, I think she's kind of wrong for this movie.
Mhm.
Like it would
And
have been like going back to like our point before, like it probably would have been better if someone like Emma Stone was in this.
I think she delivers when the film's trying to be more serious because she is a really talented actor and can sell
Hmm.
it. But it also kind of shows how out of depth Ashton Kutcher is,
Yeah.
um, compared to her. Um, Not gonna lie, both the guys in these movies drag this down because like outside of like that '70s show, I don't think I've ever really been a big fan of Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, because
Um,
he doesn't really deliver like a lot of good movies. Like, I mean, or maybe he's just not in like movies that end up being good. Like, I mean, I haven't seen it, but I hear the Butterfly Effect is decent. He
like
was,
it's fun,
I didn't watch the Steve Jobs movie he was in.
which is funny because that's his picture on IMDb is him
Yeah,
as Steve
he should
Jobs.
probably change that.
I think the best I've honestly seen him in a movie is probably Vengeance, that BJ Novak film
Oh,
that
that's
came
right.
out
I
a
forgot
couple.
about him, that movie.
I feel like that is like by far the best I'm looking up because I haven't. And I'm
Uh,
like, that's probably like the best I've seen Ashton Kutcher like actually act. So like I feel like he was a weak link here. You know who like really loved in this movie and feel really bad for is actually Lake Bell. Like,
Actually, this is somewhere I'm going to have to agree with you or disagree with you on because I don't like her as much in this movie. I think
interesting.
she's too like um maybe like this is not the right term, but manic pixie dream girl. Like she's too like cute and nerdy and stuff, and like she's trying to be like the silly nerdy chick, and it's I don't think it works for her. I think she's way better as like the sarcastic kind of a little bit more wild type of chick.
I liked her in this.
I think
I
she's
do
fine in
agree
this.
that I think she's like that's more her vibe,
Yeah,
certainly is being more sarcastic and stuff like that. Um it's interesting because like this has a much bigger supporting cast. Like there's a lot of people in this
a
movie.
lot of people in this.
I when I saw Greta Gerwig and I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh, talk about another crush of mine. Oh my goodness. Greta Gerwig in 2011 was a huge crush of mine too.
I'm just like I love the fact that Greta Gerwig's in this movie. Obviously, like Mindy Kaling's in there.
Mhm.
One guy, Branham, who I love in Platonic, that Apple show. I don't think I had ever seen him in anything else besides Bros. So like it was weird seeing him in this role and him just being like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gay." Um, at that moment, like he's one of the residents. Um,
And honestly, I think, and that's another like point going back to Friends with Benefits, where like they're just trying to throw like in your face, hey, this character's gay, you
at
know.
least this, I'm at least like pretty sure this actor's actually gay,
Well, no, he actually is,
unlike Woody
but
Harrelson.
but like that line that he says, like, yeah, I'm definitely gay. Like, I'm like, he didn't need to say that. Like
I
it's not I don't think it's necessarily funny. Like I don't think it was just necessary at all.
well, I'll put this right out there. Like these types of films aren't the types of comedies I enjoy the most.
Right.
Like for a rom-com to really hit me, it really has to be sharp. And that's why I love When Harry Met Sally and stuff
Yep.
like that. Like that really works for me. Like stuff like this isn't my thing.
Hmm.
These aren't the types of films that I really enjoy. And like I could appreciate like um the random ludicrous just popping up in this movie's ridiculous.
He
Um
okay, so he I think he is only here because he's ludicrous. And that's not and that's and
100%.
that's a double entendre. He's ludicrous is his name and he's just his character is just
It's
absolutely ridiculous too.
ridiculous.
He's I This is gonna sound mean, but I think he's there just to be the black friend.
Yep. And also name recognition because like in
Yeah,
2011, like Ludacris is gonna get people's attention. I appreciate like Jake Johnson popping up here. Um
yeah,
Mia Thurlby, who I like looked at her, I'm like, wait a minute. And because like I'm a huge fan of the Dread movie from
mhm.
2012, and this was a year before that came out, which is wild. Um, how long did it take you to realize that Dr. Metzner was Carrie Elwes with all of his beard and hair? Because I'm like looking at him like that guy kind of looks like Carrie Elwes. I wouldn't be
I
surprised if
did.
that was actually
I
Carrie
did
Elwes.
almost the exact same thing. Because I'm sitting there like, and because like he doesn't talk for the first half of the movie because they'll mention
Yeah.
it, mention him, and they'll show him, but I don't really recognize him. But then he starts talking. It's like, is that Carrie Elways?
Yep,
And I
100%.
go on IMDb. Oh yeah, it is. But like, why is he such like relegated to this like small role where he's not showing his acting? I'm like,
He's just there. And then, I love Kevin Kline. And this was such a weird character for
yeah,
him to play in this. And what a what a weird plot point to have the dad dating your ex-girlfriend.
yeah,
I'm like, weird. Such a weird choice. Like Kevin Kline commits to anything. So like I think he played the role exactly how the role was supposed to be played.
right, right,
Not gonna lie, like there were some moments though in this movie where um I I did feel a little bit. I didn't feel much watching Friends with Benefits, but I feel like there was a couple of moments where this movie got me a little bit.
yeah. I
And
feel like. Go ahead. Sorry.
well, and that's getting to the point where like there's stuff in this that I really did not like. But then there was other stuff where I'm like, okay, that actually did really work for me. Where Friends with Benefits was kind of just like this very consistent, like, this is watchable
Yeah,
kind of experience. And I guess that's how it sounds like if you want to get a little bit extra, even if some of these things just don't work, this is the one that I feel like stands out more between the two
yeah.
of them. But what were you gonna say, Jeff?
So I mean, and basically, I was agreeing with you here because like I think that Friends with Benefits, like I don't buy that love story at all. Like
Mhm.
I think it's just a like how they fall in love and how they become, they fall for each other. I think it's just a little too ridiculous at times, and I think that in No Strings Attached, it's a little bit more like realistic, a little bit more like believable because you kind of see more of their connection. Where
Well, and I feel like Friends with Benefits is a lot more staged, where
Yeah,
it's just like, hey, I'm a headhunter trying to get you this job, but like, we're both just so charismatic
yeah,
and charming that like we can't help but want to just sleep with each other.
hmm,
Like it feels like just such a ridiculous kind of setup. I don't particularly like the first 10 minutes of this movie because I think it's weird and clunky, but it's reasonable to see like these two people who knew each other from college reconnecting and maybe there was something there. Like I can buy into that a little bit more, and it feels a little bit more grounded, and I think this film benefits from that.
yeah. No, I can agree with that completely.
um I don't love either of these in particular. Like I feel like both of them at the end of the day were pretty watchable, but like
Yeah,
if I'm going to go watch a rom-com, this is definitely not going to be anywhere near what I'm picking, and especially from this, because like I feel like the aughts. were so good for comedies.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to think what films from the like comedies from the 2010s that I like absolutely love and are not Adam McKay movies, to be frank. Because, like, to be honest, like The Other Guys is one of my favorite comedies from
I love the other guy.
that period of time. Like, I don't know, this was not my era for comedies. When did Superbad come out?
It was like 2007, I think.
Okay, so that was
Or
still in the
I
aughts.
was in like
Yeah,
I was in high school when that came out, and this came out way after that.
yeah. So like this feels like it's one that weird space of like the early 2010s where it's just like I don't know if I really think many of these comedies are
Yeah.
funny. Um Actually, honestly, probably one of the best comedies is 21 Jump Street.
Oh, I love
So
21 Jump
not
Street.
rom-coms. So spoofing cops, yes. Other
Yeah.
guys, 21 Jump Street, not rom-com.
Well, because I think this was kind of the tail end of like, because there were some rom-coms back in like in the aughts that were actually decent. Like
Yeah.
I'm one of the weirdos that actually kind of likes He's Not That Into You.
Mhm.
Like, and I think that was okay. I even think like that Valentine's Day movie is not like completely, dog crap.
Well, and
So
you had like Knocked Up and the 40-Year-Old Virgin
yeah,
and like stuff like that in the aughts. And then this is like bring in the 2010s and you have No Strings Attached and Friends with Benefits.
yeah, and because it's around this time where like the indie movies kind of really started becoming a thing, and
Mhm.
you started seeing more of like these like romantic comedy dramedy type movies kind of taking over that were not like super well like not super like widely released, and they were like
Yeah.
indie darlings and stuff, and that kind of took over as opposed to these like bigger budget comedies.
Mhm.
So I think this was like the nail in the coffin to the aughts, and then we started getting all the indie stuff, which in some cases was a little bit better.
Which I think is still the case, to be perfectly honest, because like
Yeah,
we don't really get it's I they're either straight to streaming rom-coms and stuff like that, which
yeah,
like whatever. Or like there's very few like studio rom-coms that we really
right.
get at this point. Like case in point, what Will Block directed the crap, what the hell was it? The Sydney Sweeney
Anyone but you.
yeah. So like that's one of the biggest rom-coms in the past like 5 years.
Yeah.
I think COVID really killed it because
Yeah, that makes sense too.
I remember when Lovebirds was supposed to be coming out with Issa Rae and Kumail Nanjiani, and then that
Yeah,
wound up just getting dumped on Netflix, which was a
yeah.
shame. Like, I don't think it was perfect, but I had a good time with that movie.
Well, and
That
I
was a
think the
nice,
last like, and maybe it's not considered a comedy exactly, but like the Materialists that A24 put out this year, like not necessarily a comedy, but it's like it's romantic for
yeah.
sure.
Well, and it's still A24 though, and I feel like that's
Yeah.
where we're still in that like, you know, the indies have really
Mhm.
taken over because like stuff like Splitsville, which obviously
Oh, I
is a
haven't
very,
seen it yet.
very messy, um, romantic comedy, quote unquote,
Yeah,
from Neon. And, you know, it's Neon and it's A24 and these other ones. And like, there's been a few like indie comedies that I've really enjoyed that are kind of rom-com-ish, but like that's what we get now. And I think this was towards that like dying breed of like big star
yeah.
studio rom-coms. And could have went off on a better note. But I'm not mad that I watched them. I kind of feel like I'm not left out anymore. Because like I never watched stuff like this when this stuff was coming out. And I'm like, like these are both, I assume, hits, right? Were
So
they?
I think I think they were both somewhat middling because
Oh my.
No
So
Strings
No
Attached.
Strings Attached was $25 million budget and made $150 million.
Wow.
And then Friends with Benefits, let's see. Friends with Benefits cost $10 million more at 35 million and also made $150 million worldwide. So
They did okay.
they did okay for themselves. And that was a time where you could make money off of movies like this because I
Yeah,
really don't think you can very often anymore.
yeah,
It's hard to make money off of any movie at this point, which is sad. But
yeah. I mean, like you said, COVID killed a lot of these things.
theatrical comedies in particular, which is sad. At least we got Naked Gun in a theater.
Oh,
It was
that's right.
dumb. It was dumb and ridiculous. And I enjoyed all 80 minutes of it. So, but I guess Jeff, what were some of the things that you wanted to point out about how these were like the same movie?
Okay, so there's three. Not even two of them are like I don't even want to call them like they're things that make them the same movie, but they're just things that they have in common.
Yep.
Like one of them is both of the guys in the movies have some kind of subplot with their dad.
Yep.
And so I was like, that's kind of weird. I almost wonder like was someone cheating off of the other one's screenplay? I'm like, we
Daddy
need
issues, the
something with the
movie.
dad. Um, the other one that I really liked, the other thing I noticed in both of these movies that I really liked is they both use like very good music. Like Friends with Benefits less so because it uses a lot of like that like cheesy pop type music
Yeah.
in some spots. Like got that stupid like Hey Soul Sister song. I can't stand that song.
That took me back when they started playing that. I'm like, my God.
Oh yeah.
Remember when this song came out?
Yeah, I hate that song so much. But there's a lot of songs in this movie. There's a lot of songs in both of these movies that are like indie music that I actually very much enjoy. So I was and I noticed that in both of these movies, especially more in No Strings Attached. There's a lot more music that I like in No Strings Attached than Friends with Benefits. Um, the other thing that connects this movie, which I didn't realize until just now, was there's a woman in um, Friends with Benefits. Her name is Catherine Reitman. She's the daughter of Ivan Reitman. Like Catherine Reitman, she plays if you're a fan of It's Always Sunny, she plays Maureen Ponderosa.
Oh my
Um,
God.
apparently, I don't remember her in Friends with Benefits, but apparently she's in the movie, and she is the daughter of Ivan Reitman. And I just realized that when I was going through the IMDb like 20
Like,
minutes ago.
could her dad not find her a role in?
Yeah, right.
Oh, oh my God. Now I'm looking at her and I'm like, she is Ivan Reitman's daughter.
Mhm.
I see the family resemblance. Oh, she was in Blackish.
Yeah,
Now she's one of the co-workers. She's one of the
yeah.
white co-workers who get schooled all the time about their whiteness in
Yeah, she's been
Blackish.
in a lot of stuff, especially lately. She's been in a lot of stuff. Like she was like doing her own show at one point.
Well, good for her.
Yeah. But those are the
Talented,
only really three things that I could find that I'm like, these are similar for some reason.
interesting. You know, those things happen in Hollywood, whether they're magicians, asteroids coming to destroy the planet, or,
Or or
sleeping with
you're
your friends.
or you're invading the White House or something.
Yes. Sorry, I knew I forgot one very clear example of that, and Jeff had my back because it was Olympus has fallen and White House down.
Well,
So,
I want to start going through movies and seeing what other instances like that happened in the past or something. Because
I feel like
there's got to be more.
there has to be more. Um, I don't think this is necessarily the same thing, but we did get two Godzilla films in the same year, not like what 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Except one of these is a big dumb monster movie, and the other one was like, my God, how'd they make this movie for $15 million? And I feel like make the best Godzilla movie in like decades.
Yeah.
So, you know, but no, those were definitely like the four big ones from like at least our lifetime where it's just like, yep, I distinctly remember
Hmm.
I've never watched Deep Impact, but my God, I have watched Armageddon so many times. Armageddon's one of those movies that I find endlessly entertaining, but also like Michael Bay, man. Like, what are you doing? This is so dumb. But that just has Jerry Bruckheimer written all over it. And that was a vibe for like 20 years of Jerry Bruckheimer movies. But Jeff, thank you as always for coming on and chatting movies with me.
Sure, no problem.
And next week, I'll be joined by my wife Jess as we decide we are going to do something fun here. So we're both huge fans of documentary now. So we're going to talk about two documentaries that influenced episodes of documentary now, Grey Gardens and Grizzly Man. Um,
Oh,
so I've been wanting to watch Grey Gardens so bad ever since the Will and the from Fred Armisen and Bill Hader playing mother daughter together in that
my
episode documentary now.
my favorite documentary nows are the one where they parody the Euro Dreams of Sushi. The very first one where they do the War Room. I love that
Hmm.
episode, like the where they're parodying the War Room, and then it's a later episode, but they did the one with the co-op board, like the musical of the co-op. That one's so funny. I love John Mulaney in it. He's so great.
So I have one very specific episode that is my favorite, and I don't think it's a lot of people's favorite, but it just scratched a specific itch for me. It was the stone throwing in Wales one because one, that's a hilarious concept of like these big dudes just chucking rocks at each other, but it's the commentators, Tom Jones being a cop randomly because he's Welsh, and then John Rhys Davies and Jonathan Pryce being sassy historians who talk shit on each other the whole entire time is glorious. That show is amazing, and they need to make more documentary now. So that's what we're doing. And then next month, Jeff and I are going to dive into a double dose of, dudes' lives being turned into reality television. One of them by choice, one of them definitely not, and which makes it a lot more interesting and compelling. It's the Truman Show and Ed TV. But thank all of you for listening. Make sure to like and comment and share on this episode. What's your favorite rom com from this early 2010s era, which feels kind of like a transitional period for comedies? And make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. The SPDM Crew Podcasting Network is ever expanding. So many shows, a lot about movies. So if you love movies or different types of stuff for everybody, and if you want to be a guest on one of these shows, or start your own podcast because you have an idea, reach out to us on our website. And if you like our logo, check out High Flyer Creative for all your digital marketing needs. But most importantly, thank you as always for tuning in and supporting the Wasteland Retrospective here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.